Okay,
Folks,
fair
welcome
enough.
to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name is Jordan Dahl.
I am Roger Norquist.
Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by Reds.
Ooh.
Monstroco presents Reds. You love oranges so much. Well, these are Reds. Accept that and we can talk about purples. Reds by Monstroco. What the
Are they a refrigerator fruit?
They're Reds.
They're
These are Reds.
all right.
So,
all right.
like, you know how you get orange juice and it's orange?
Yeah.
This makes red juice,
Yeah.
and it's red. It's not blood.
It's thick like blood.
It's not blood.
I have a glass in front of me here. It's thick like blood, but it's not blood, you say.
Roger drinks tons of red.
I've drank in a bunch of it. I assumed it was blood.
It is replacing your blood, but it's not blood.
Good. I
Yeah,
think the old blood was bad.
yeah. You will urinate out the old blood. Folks, I want to talk to you today. I just got back
Yes.
from Ireland.
You
I've
did.
been to Ireland,
For the first time ever since
and
the
I'm
embargo.
forever changed. Yes. Since I was asked to leave. I went and I saw, and it rocked. I walked 40 miles along
Jeez.
the Wicklow Way.
On purpose? Was this? That's not what I meant to say. Was this the purpose?
No, lost.
of your?
Couldn't get an Uber.
Was this the purpose of your trip to walk the way?
Yes, we walked a huge portion of the Wicklow Way. Not the whole thing. I did get some mild heat exhaustion
Of
one
course.
of the days, but I also learned a thing or two about my personal hiking rhythm. And if I go
Yes.
slow and take lots of water breaks, I can have a really good time. But if
Do
I'm
it up,
really
yeah.
if I'm really slamming the pavement, I can do some damage. So, folks, take your time out there. You know, enjoy the walk.
That's that marathon stuff to where like you got it. If you're doing 40 miles, go slow
Yeah.
and water breaks.
I know you want to get there. I know you want to catch up. I know all of that. But this hike is going to be a lot funner if you're not dead. For everyone, really. The marathon will be funner if a guy didn't die during the marathon. The hike will be funner if a fucking personal trainer from California didn't die in like fucking 130-degree weather because they refused to go back. Anyway, yeah, it was crazy. I definitely thought about those people who like you hear about like oh, his car broke down, so he tried to walk for help and just died in the desert. Don't, guys, you can't do it. You cannot do it. You're not going to win against the sun. I know you're tough. I know you work outside. The sun wants you dead. Don't play. Don't play. Drink water. Get a big fucking stupid hat. So big. I'm making this sound worse than it was, but I'm just because I've seen, and I myself am like one of those dudes who's like, it's walking. I could fucking walk. I could walk all day. No, you can't.
It takes a certain ability to turn off the pain receptors to walk all day.
Well, even then, it's just like your body is used to kind of a homeostasis level of the heat that it can deal with in a day. And like it regulates your temperature in a certain way. And if you really try to shock that system, you got to be ready to take like the necessary breaks and like pack a ton of fucking water and take it seriously is all I'm saying. Because like on day 2, when it was tough, I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, fair. Day 1, you're like, I got this. The fairy folk can't stop me.
Yeah.
And then day 2, they came in the night for your.
That's the other thing. So along the way, I listened to 2 books. I listened to the Secret Commonwealth of Elves, Fauns, and Fairies by Sir Robert Kirk. And I also listened to another book about fairy faith by a woman whose name escapes me.
Like
and that
the
was
fairy
arguably,
religion, the faith
yeah,
of the
yeah,
Fae.
but it's not exactly that, because it's not like there's a church or like like a priest that you would go to. But it is the collected beliefs of like the pre-Roman English and what they believed when it came to the spirits living around them and all of that. And fascinating, incredible stuff. It really drew me in. And I'm gonna continue reading about that. But I wanted to first I wanted to tell you about a couple of things we saw. One, we saw a really cool like trees wound together. It looked like a gate. It was like a Fae gate, just saying. We also saw there was a stump in front of like a deep, dark entrance to the woods way out in the middle of nowhere that had like just pitch black vibes coming out of it. And on that stump, someone had put an old rusted iron pan. Now, for those of you who don't know, iron, cast iron, pig iron, cold iron, some people would call it, is one of the very traditional ways to protect against the Fae. Or as they would call them, the good people, the good neighbors. They call them that, the fair folk, in hopes that they will rise to the sort of the occasion. Because if you're like, these evil fuckers, then they'll be like, then evil we are. But the idea is that if you're calling them, the good neighbors, the other crowd.
Yeah, they'll be like, they call me the good neighbor.
I am a
That's
good
my
neighbor.
Irish accent.
Pretty good. Anyway, so to me, it looked like somebody had placed a ward in front of a pretty spooky looking den, and it had been there for a while. So that was a pretty fun little find, and definitely like a goosebumpy moment. Anyway, I wanted to share with everybody some of the things that I had learned, because boy, and we've said this before, boy, those fairies that they talk about, they are not what they have been made to seem in cartoons and literature. They're scary. A lot of it is really scary.
We talk a little bit about it, but we've never gone into it descriptively.
Yeah, I'm gonna share a couple of specific of the specific fairy encounters, entities, shall we say, that will help us to better understand kind of how the Celts viewed these entities that they very much believed were sharing the world with us. And it was something that they were like, oh, they will kill you, they'll kill you, dude. Like they absolutely like this was a matter of life and death to them. So one of the first ones that comes up quite often as a means specifically to illustrate and warn people about the dangers of tangling with the other crowd. If you perhaps are expecting a very rosy Tinkerbelly kind of situation, you might end up hearing a tale about the Sluashi. The Sluashi are kind of a host of trooping fairies that are kind of pure malevolence. They're this is the one that if you're out in the woods at night and they come across you, boy, that's the last they saw of that guy.
So this is a good old. What's the plural of fairy? Not a murder.
Oh, a band, a troop. Depends on the one. That's another thing that I've learned is like, much like D&D, it's like it's not it's very much not like little twinkly kind of flappy winged things. It's like fairies are like people, just like it's like a person, a slender person usually with a strange kind of and that's not correct. They are multifarious is the best way to put it. It's like there's not one kind of, this is the race of fairies. It's like this is the kingdom of Fae, and it encapsulates everything from like a pixie to a troll or like a hag even.
So tell us about this glittering of stuff. Fairies. That's what I'm going to use for the going with.
See,
the glittering.
Once again, the whole, this is what I want to dismiss. This Tinkerbell tra-la-la vibe, because it is not that. It's blood and thorns and ancient forest steep. And the people got to know. So this is from emeraldisle.ie, and this is their article on the Sluagh. Of all the wonders and terrors in Irish folklore, there are few quite so terrifying as the Sluagh. Tales were told of their wild hunt long before the coming of Christianity to Ireland, and even today, old folk in the countryside will keep the windows on the west side of the house fastened tight at all times, but most especially during wakes or if someone in the house is unwell, for fear of the Sluagh coming to pay a midnight visit on their humble homes. Wicked or saintly, kind or cruel, the Sluagh play no favorites. They'll take the souls of all that cross their path, although some say they have a particular taste for the living spirits of those who have found true love. Oh. The ancients used to think they were fairy gone terribly wrong, warped and twisted without fear, reason, or mercy. When the light came to Ireland, they became the souls of lost sinners seeking to drag the unfaithful down to hell with them, but the result was the same.
I love the Christianization of some of these. To we're like, oh, don't wait, they're Christian too.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. We have a similar story.
Yeah,
it's probably the same. Yeah, a lot of it you'll find is the passing of history into memory, into legend. It's like the thing about the iron. So an interesting fact about the iron is that, so we talked about the Tuatha De Danann, right, before I left.
Yeah, and, that was our last thing you brought.
Right. They used bronze. That was their big thing. Bronze and silver and gold for jewelry and stuff. And they, when the Milesians came, the deal was that the Milesians got the upper half of Ireland and they got the lower half, right? So they had to go underground into the She Hills, and there's a theory that is actually the memory of when people stopped using bronze and started using iron, because they became the fairies. Iron scares them away. Because they didn't know how to use it and they didn't know what that was.
Regular Bronze Age collapse, as the kids say.
So there's a connection there between the changing of the guard from bronze to iron.
They had the war,
the fact
right?
That well, because the idea is that the Tuatha De Danann went into the fairy mounds and became the fairies, but the fact that those fairies are afraid of iron is an interesting kind of connection.
Yeah, very much so. Iron kicks bronze's ass.
Yeah, but iron's coming back. You bet your ass.
Not like my soft copper.
Yeah. The host of the unforgiven dead roam the earth on Samhain, Halloween, and it is for this reason that all fires were forbidden on that night in times gone by, so as to not attract their attention. Even death itself was no release, for the souls they captured joined them on their hunt, spiraling throughout the lands of Ireland and further abroad on the darkest of nights. So it is the wild hunt. It is a hooting, trooping band of screaming monstrosities, tortured souls, Fae, dark Fae, who will grab your soul out and you become one of them. Said one monk in times of yore, the spirits fly about in great clouds up and down the face of the world like starlings, and come back to the scenes of their earthly transgressions. No soul of them is without the clouds on earth, dimming the brightness of the works of earth. In bad nights, the Sluagh shelter themselves behind little russet docken stems and little yellow ragwort stalks. They fight battles in the air as men do on the earth. And that's a big part of it, is you'll hear it'll sound like a great wind or a battle or the baying of hounds. Like that's what you'll hear coming on the wind. If the
Gotcha.
if the Sluashie are abroad.
I like it as a nice little myth on why we hear the sounds we hear at storms.
If denied their rightful, as they see it, feast, they don't balk at the slaughter of cattle, dogs, sheep, cats, and all with their poison darts, also called elf shot. Sometimes elf shot was sort of a culprit for all unknown disease. Really, if somebody was behaving in a way that was sort of unexplainable, they were likely elf shot.
Died of a weird red swole or something. Yeah,
or even just like a seizure,
a syndrome,
or like a stroke or something. Or getting shot with an elf arrow.
Or just getting shot with a legitimate elf arrow, which was the fashion at the time.
Which was the style at the time. So yeah, there's this kind of feeling that the elves or the fairies, the other crowd, are owed this tithe, this 10%. That like when they went underground, when they agreed to go underground, part of the deal was that people would give them 10% of the harvest every year, and that's why you see a lot of little offerings, a little pour out of the whiskey, a little pour out of the cream, a plate of butter. So that's another thing. It's got to be good. Like people will be like, "Oh, I'll throw out this banana peel, and that'll be my offering for the fairies."
No.
It's got to be that good stuff. If you're taking a shot, you give them the first sip. You give them the bit off the top. If you're giving them some of the grain, they get the good shit, or else. So in the form of, if denied, right, they'll start killing people. If it is said that the Slua command men to follow them, and men obeyed, having no alternative, it was these men of earth who slew and maimed at the bidding of their spirit masters, who in return ill-treated them in a most pitiless manner. They would be rolling and dragging and trouncing them in the mud and mire and pools. So you can even imagine there's this kind of host of spectral fright moving through the air and laughing and playing their strange instruments while the people they've captured are sort of driven before them as slaves and murderers. They got terrifying.
They got new guys going to their wives going like, I wish I had any alternative, but I gotta go with this cloud thing.
I got swept up in the slushy. Doris, I'm sorry.
You just want to roll around in the mud with your friends.
No, they're not my friends. Just the other crowd. I was unkind or in some way uncouth with them. I promise.
This East Coast couple
coming
just
back.
caught
Are you
up
coming back to the Wild Hunt? No, not now.
Trying to lie to my lady. I don't know them at all.
He used your first name. Okay. All right. In the form of a vast flock of black ravens twined about with undulating shadows they came, the echoes of their wings being found in stories of ill-omened birds heralding bad times. The truly broken-hearted might be attacked, or the foolish or unlucky might call them upon themselves by uttering the name Slua 9 times over and over.
Oh, you want to do it?
No.
All right.
Pronounced like I'm saying, for fear you might say it yourself, perhaps in a fit of sneezing. Upon closer inspection, the great birds look more like wretched thin shades of their previous selves, with gnarled talons like the blackthorn's boughs for hands and feet, and wings of dusky smoke.
Nice.
And once they have your scent, let me tell you, you're in trouble then. If the pitiable mortal that has drawn their eye can bestir themselves, it would be well to get indoors with all locked and fastened until the beating of dark wings fades with the light of dawn. Chroniclers of old also wisely advised avoiding places of loneliness, such as dark forests and empty streets, lest a passing hunt might take a fancy to you. There is one other way to avoid joining them for all eternity, although most dreadful it is, and that's to give them another in your stead.
That's what I'm talking about, Jordan. Do you want to go outside for a moment, see if the weather has changed?
And that's why Nate couldn't be here with us this evening, this afternoon. And then, very interestingly, this part of the article ends by saying, they say a woman was eaten alive by the Slua in Roscommon.
Nice. Metal.
That's pretty metal. There's a lot of that eating alive thing, too. That seems to bring some of them great glee. Roscommon is just a historical site in the middle of the countryside. Pretty scary. The other one that I wanted to touch upon was the Gothashid. The Gothashi, or the fairy wind. This is another thing that piqued my interest, because it's kind of one of those things that really illustrates that it can go either way. Like it can be helpful, or it can be a real bad deal. But once again, the emeraldisle.ie describes the Gothashi as an ill wind. We have a saying in Ireland that it's the only place in the world where you can get all 4 seasons in one day. Actually, we say the same thing in Colorado. It's kind of a thing that they say everywhere. Whatever, it's fine.
Wait, do we have do we got dark spirits?
Maybe.
Okay, maybe.
Probably. I mean, yes, the idea is that these things exist these things exist the world over. We just have different ways of interacting with them.
That's fair.
Culture to culture. And there are people who had the second sight, as they call it, were able to see into the other worlds, who, when they came to America, they said that, like, yeah, they're still here. It's just, there's these are like a completely different culture of fairies.
Nice. Do you think they have the same idiosyncrasies that we do, culture to culture?
Yeah, I think that probably a lot of the cultural little rituals and stuff that people had built up to deal with fairies in the British Isles and sort of that part of Europe probably wouldn't make sense if you came over to America and started, doing this type of thing for Tommy knockers or whatever. And they'd be like, we don't know what that is. We mine.
That both wasn't the answer to my question, and the ended exactly with the answer to my question.
We don't need cream. We need antiseptic and bandages.
Do you have any rescue supplies? There are 60 down in the mine. We have to save my Tommy knocker brethren.
What is this, berries? We need explosives. We need firearms.
There was a war going on. The Balrog have come.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing too. So let's read on.
Yeah, this the birds in the slua.
Mm-hmm.
The wing description's very Balrog-esque, like smoky winged creature.
The claws and the shadows. It's spooky. Yeah, like a million tiny Balrogs. Well, there's truth in that, but Irish weather can be even stranger than most people realize. So it is with the Gothashi, which means the fairy wind, and is pronounced Guishia. The Guishia, or Shigoya, I've heard it called as well. I don't know how to pronounce
what their alphabet would look like if...
Dude, the alphabet, and I've said this before, the Gaelic spelling of things really reinforces the idea that letters are whatever you want. Letters are whatever you want them to be. They spell color with a 5. They are not fucking around.
Well, that's because they're all elite, everyone in the Gaelic community is like a hacker in Shadowrun.
It's all elite speak.
Yeah.
That's great. I also love the idea that it was like there's like one it was like one Gaelic speaking Scotsman who couldn't spell very well but refused to admit it. It's like, all right, the word for this is grech. It's like, all right, how do you spell that? B T H B T H. Shut up! It's different. It's special. The word, that's what it sounds like.
This is the word of our ancestors.
Keep it. If you don't understand it, keep it out of your heathen mouth.
Q.
Yeah. Now allow me to continue. And then 3 1s real fast.
We respect your language as fans of historical linguistics. It is a beautiful language.
And
but you
boy,
deserve
we came across a couple of like early morning Gaelic TV shows. It's hypnotic. It's wild to watch.
Yeah, it's like a full thriving language again.
It's a whole damn thing. The whole damn thing. I would love to learn it, but it's very intimidating, and half of that is the spelling. Anyway, so the fairy wind. Often a man might be working in his field or out traveling from place to place, rambling about,
as we do.
Mm-hmm. And a strange wind would whip up out of nowhere, whirling him around and whispering forgotten secrets. And never was it more to be feared than after the sun had set.
Forgotten secrets.
Yeah. So the fairy wind, and this, I was thinking of this because there were quite a few times when we were hiking out there, and I would be like, oh boy, the wind has been so still. It's just been hot, and like nothing is so whoosh, and it would just come out of nowhere. And I had just listened to the chapter on the fairy wind, and I was like, oh wow, the Shigota. But sometimes it was very welcoming. It was very cooling and pleasant. Nice. And sometimes it was sand in your eyes.
But I think the listeners want to know is, what forgotten secret did the wind whisper to you?
Well, it was forgotten. That's the problem. To me, it whispered the forgotten secret of, it was like, you're 40 fucking 2 years old. Drink some water, you fat fuck.
No, it was real intimidating.
You can't hike for 12 miles a day on just 2 Coca-Colas and a sausage roll. You'll pop your fucking knees out of your arse, you dumb fuck.
You're just cramping up mile 2.
Turning to wood. So it was said that the Guthshi blew on the side of the road when the sun was highest. There would be, if it blew on the side of the road when the sun was highest, there would be a death in the family on that side of the road before midnight. So if you're on a street and a fairy wind comes out of nowhere, and you'll know it. It's not like any other wind. On that side of the street, someone's going to die if it happens at midday. Before midnight. You could make the sign of the cross and say a quick prayer if you saw one, as they used to do in Glenderry long ago, and that might avert the ill fortune coming your way. The Christianity thing is also a very interesting piece of connective tissue in the fairy faith, because they were also, a lot of this stuff was pushed out when Christianity came to the islands, or married into it. You'll find a lot of fairies and fairy tales, like fairy, not like Grimm's fairy tales, but like stories of like, clever Tom who had his teeth stolen or whatever. You'll hear a lot of stuff about, like, the fairies will have almost a Christian name. He'll be like, well, I'm the Sluagwe of St. Martin's Cathedral or something, in it, as though it's almost like the good people thing. Like they would say this to be like, hey, I'm a bud, I'm your friend, kind of thing. But it's very interesting. It's almost like Santeria, how that kind of got mingled with indigenous beliefs and stuff.
I do like the idea, and this is, of course, fun revisionist because of the nuance of the whole oppressive situation in which Ireland especially has gone through. But I like the idea of them going, learning about Christianity and be like, oh yeah, we'll take that as well. We have this we have to deal with. Can you give us weapons?
Yeah.
Do you have any weapons we can use?
And that's really that's kind of what led me to Robert Kirk and the Secret Commonwealth of elves, fauns, and fairies, is he was a priest. He was a priest who was working with the Celtic people during kind of this time when folk beliefs were running strong, and were still because that's what they would call them. That's what they call them in the UK.
I am the oppressor, Celtic.
And he wrote this pamphlet as a means of basically saying, I don't think these things are evil. That's kind of what his pamphlet is. It starts out by saying a lot of people will dismiss this as the work of the devil or the kind of domain of Satan trying to trick you. He's like, I don't think that's what this is. I think this is something else. It's a really interesting listen. He treats it as a very real subject in that 1730s priestly kind of way, where he's like, if we can believe the miracles of this faith, why not the miracles of this thing? Why not? Maybe we're talking about the same thing through different words.
What was it? Antiquian sense about it, to be like, oh, your gods are coexisting with ours as well. You also have this thunder guy, huh?
And a lot of this mythology is truly the tale of mankind. It's like it's when we moved from bronze to iron is in there. It's when we moved from nature spirits to Christianity is in there. It's all in there. It's very interesting.
What do you think will be next? I hope Zalthor. But what do you want next after Christianity? after the era of Abraham?
I'm hoping. Geez, what would I like to see as a world spiritual?
Whatever core? You want it to be. Go wild. Shoot for the moon.
Oh, see, now
maybe the moon.
Boring. Now it's going to be boring. Mine would be sort of a secular humanist, spiritual openness. Which is very boring.
See, Zalthor, god of the fifth dimension, demands hearts.
Yeah, he wants blood. Yeah, he'd grind me up just for imagining that thing I just said.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do want to tell you about.
Go on.
Remind me to tell you about Robert Kirk's death at the end of this, because it is kind of interesting. Okay. So we're going to keep talking about the fairy wind. So there was a woman who went out and spent one winter's night to milk the goats and never came back in. So her husband searched high and low. He called the peelers and they couldn't find her either, until the next night when he returned to find his wife sitting nursing the baby in her usual place. She told him that the good people had taken her in a gust of the fairy wind because he'd cut some trees in a nearby fairy fort, and he'd had to plant the same number and type of trees or she would never be seen again. The next morning, he went out and planted again those trees he had cut, and his wife lived to be a grandmother of a ripe old age, although she never did tell what she had seen when she was gone.
So, you cut some trees? She just says, sitting with the child in her arms.
Smoking a cigarette?
Yeah.
Remember those trees that I told you not to fuck with? Yeah, well, I was taken by the fairies. And what happens there stays there.
Dude, that's the real pun. First of all, having the love of your life taken from you forever is devastating, but I want to know what happened in the fairyland.
Yeah,
you can't keep that a secret.
It is. That's the problem. That's the punishment. Is you just have to imagine, and it probably happened. Yeah, there was probably some fucking hung fairy stud over there who knew just how to beat the shit.
That's fine. That's our kink. Whatever. I'm wondering how big the mushrooms are. Are they?
Oh, it was big.
Are they?
Oh, it was bioluminescent.
I want to know about the fairy world more than I care about this marriage.
Then you see, now that's dangerous.
I know it is.
This is what they want.
But you can't tell me of a different reality, and then
because the thing is, they'll take you. They'll take you, and when you're there, Roger, don't eat anything. Don't drink anything.
Okay. Here's something you don't know about my building. We all have tiny doors next to our door.
I know those doors. I love them. I love those doors.
Yeah, you know what they're for, but
yeah.
What if, and for those who don't know, I believe they were ice doors. You would get your shipment of ice and they would put it in there, and you would then,
or like milk or whatever delivery.
It was a mini delivery door.
Yeah.
What if I go through my apartment in that door and enter fairy apartment?
See, this is now you're getting it. This is exactly the type of shit we're talking about. It's all happening layer on top of layer, and it's all about intention and meaning. So if you decide that that's how it happens, yeah.
I could bang fairy Kylie.
No, that's the thing, is you also can't, like, when you go through, you can't partake of any of the joys of fairyland, or else, unless that's what you're going for. You want to stay there forever, but it's like it doesn't sound great. A lot of it is like
yeah, like let's say
sounds like you're dancing until your feet bleed, kind of thing.
All right, fair enough.
Partying, and they laugh when someone dies. They cry when someone makes a joke. It's sort of it's topsy turvy. If you dig it, if it's for you, and you're like one of those kids in high school who wore a lot of mushroom stuff and probably thought acid was going to be cooler than it was.
Loved Opposite Day.
Yeah, maybe it's for you, but by and large, it sounds really similar, a lot of this, to an alien abduction. It sounds like a lot of missing time. There's a lot of poking and prodding. There's a lot of being forced to mother children. There's a lot of being forced to perform for kings and queens and things. Just like a UFO story. Yeah, but
that's also just like the Borgias.
Whatever. I imagine to a 14th century peasant or something who's off his tits on 14th century whiskey, fucking walking down the road, playing his fiddle, and some very wealthy, also very drunk aristocrat is like, "Come to my palace, play your tunes." And that you do it, and like you drink for 3 days with them, and then you barely get away with the worst hangover in your life, and your wife is fucking furious. Or in this case, your husband, and you got to be like, "Oh fuck, there's these trees. You shouldn't have cut those trees. You know what happened? This is actually your fault."
You did this to me.
It is a very interesting lens through which people have processed the unknown.
It's one of my favorite things about myth is that a god did it.
Yeah,
I didn't have an affair. Zeus slept with me, and you can't do anything about that.
Yeah. In Ballantree, there are 2 raths, or ancient fortresses, in 2 different fields, and every year on the same date, a wind would rise on one and blow straight to the other, carrying with it anything left nearby and anything standing in its way. If you turned your back on it and said, "Good luck to you," 3 times, or took off your hat and cried, "God bless you," in a hurry, however, you'd come to no harm. Or if there was no time for that, you could lie face down and hope for the best. Or
that could be said about any situation.
Or if you happen to have a black-handled knife, you could throw it at the wind to drive it off. This is another thing, because the steel in the knife, usually.
Oh, I thought just like I got a bunch of black-handled knives that are like shitty cutler really knives.
Yeah. I don't know what the black handle has to do with it. I think it has something to do with way back then. If you had a black handle, it was most likely made out of one of several kinds of wood, thought to be
an ember wood, which is unique.
An amulet against a stave against evil. For instance, shillelaghs were almost always made out of blackthorn, because it was thought to be a very powerful ward against the Fae. There's a great song, "The Rocky Road to Dublin," where he talks about, "I took a stout blackthorn for battle, ghosts and goblins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's very good. So you could throw the knife. Anything with iron in it might do some good, and you may very well hear moaning when the metal passes into the gust. Especially if you let out a shout, "May misfortune go with you." Not far from there, a man was on his way home after a fair day, and it was a flat, calm night when all of a sudden he saw leaves going around in a swirl. This is another part of it. It's usually a dust devil or a leafy tornado, and heard a voice calling to him saying, "Come, come." He fainted dead away and found himself awake in his bed the next morning with the full sure knowledge that if he had stepped into that twist of fairy wind, he'd have been gone. He's been gone for the rest of his life, Robin. Whisked away.
Not understanding how they work. Fuck yeah, I would be very frightened of every dust devil that came my way.
I tell you, if I'd have seen one up there when I was listening to all of this stuff, I would have been like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Easy now.
Truly, I mean, when I came across that pan outside of a cave, I was like, okay, all right.
I realized in a moment of paranormalness, I will try to hold my lady back to be like, no.
Me too. I do that. I do that.
I would do that as well. It should be like, short. It's a dust devil.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, okay.
Or is it?
Hold on.
Put the gun away, Roger. There was a man in Limerick by the name of Egan who died about 30 years ago. Well, one time in harvest, he had a lot of mowing to do, and this night there was a full moon, so he said he would break into another field of hay before he went to bed. Crack one more field of hay. So he started off mowing away in a meadow that had a fort in it, and after a while he noticed that 6 other mowers were after falling in behind him. He never saw them coming, but only heard the cutting behind him, and when he looked to see what it was, he saw the 6 men behind him, and they all keeping time with his stroke. So he cut away, and they were making short work of the meadow, until they came to a stream that was running through the middle of it. One of the men said to him that they could not cross the running water, but that he should jump across it himself and leave his scythe behind him. So he did that, and he went home to bed. They can't cross borders as well. That's another thing.
Gotcha.
Rivers, roads, fences.
That's right, because of their god.
Yeah, well, it's honestly, it's a
barrier. It's a natural barrier.
It's a barrier between their world, the wilderness, and our world, which is quite often a man-made structure, a fence, a road.
We do like chopping down the trees.
When he got up in the morning, the meadow was all cut, and he and his family saved it. They had all the hay stacked in the field, and he thought that everything was all right. But the next day, a fairy wind rose up suddenly and swept most of the hay away. The fairies played their part in cutting the hay, so they decided to take it away with them, too. Usually there would be a loud humming sound before the fairy wind made its appearance. Remind you of something?
Yeah, I was going to say number of UFOs.
Like thousands of bees, which was said to have been the passing of a troop of fairies within. The effects of each wind could be unpredictable. If it was a hot day, you might freeze, as happened to a man in Inchicrinan Parish, County Clare. Inchicrinan.
Okay. ICHR.
Oh boy.
Is it insane?
INCHICRONAN. Inchikronan.
You had a problem pronouncing it, which meant this is a unique word.
Yeah, it's not like the other ones. That's the thing. Is I don't know that, because sometimes the ch sounds like a h, but that's more of a Scottish thing. Anyway, a woman whose water trough was emptied by a blast of the Gothashi in the same place, as though she said 6 cattle had leapt into it. Some thought the wind was the fairies helping with the farm work, while others believed the wind was the source of sudden illness. The wind could even tear the roof off a poor family's house and let the she-host in. It was also said to protect fairy treasure from thieves, and it would silence impudent mortal musicians playing fairy music, or carry off those who played better than the fairies, and cause injury to humans or animals, especially the eyes.
Played better than them. I love the idea that even being a better fiddle player than the devil ain't gonna save you here.
Yeah. So you think you can fiddle? Volume 2.
And the leprechaun in this case, let's say, is just bad at the fiddle. Like everyone's better than him. He's just taking everyone home in a bag.
Just taking it really personally. I fucking kill you. The winds of the fairy were used to predict the weather too, with a southwesterly gust fetching rain or foretelling a hard winter ahead. There was a man who built his house on a fairy path against all the warnings of his neighbors, and sure enough, a mighty blast of the fairy wind knocked him over one night while he was holding a lighted torch, and his thatch went up in a blaze of fire immediately, destroying the house.
Oh!
Now, it was not always seen as a malevolent power, for tales tell of a farmer who found a serten, or a fairy bush, with paper money stuck to every thorn. And sure, couldn't we all use a windfall like that?
Dude, that'd be cool to have some paper money.
It was dreaded, and with good reason. If you were caught in it, you might become paralyzed or deformed, or your face might be fixed in a silly expression, or a child might stop growing. So avoid the fairy wind if you can, especially in Ballanty, which is not far from Wind Gap, marked on the map below. And then it shows the map. So that's just kind of a taste of a couple of the tales that I thought better indicated this sort of this dark and dangerous nature that sometimes the fairies have. And it really is, I think modern pop culture would have us believe that it's all sort of Fern Gully and Tinkerbells out there, but they were very much the exception. And this shit is pretty cool.
So what you're saying finally is that German adventurism and the conquering of nature is correct. And every Werner Herzog movie I've been trying to show you is correct. We must conquer nature. We must destroy it.
We must respect and avoid it, and avoid the parts that aren't meant for us. What's meant for us will come, and what's not meant for us, you have to leave it alone. That's why we're in the situation that we're in.
Whoa.
Taking everything. We're taking too much. Boy, sometimes I wish a fairy wind would come and sweep them off to fairy. You know what I mean?
I do.
Wouldn't that be great? Interesting. Breaking news from Washington. The Guanxi has taken away half of the presidential staff. To the land of fairy, where they will be forced to dance in penance for their crimes. So that does it for my field guide to scary fairies. But there's more to come, and I'll sign off with a blast from my tin whistle.
No, I did not hear it, actually. Your noise gate is awesome.
Anyway, I released the Fae skull to you.
Excellent.
It will flutter over, and it will cobble all your shoes before morning.
Well,
but not without a great price.
You would think that, but the fairy skull turned into a bunch of ones and zeros and has entered my second computer that I use for my world hacking, like in Hackers,
hacking the planet. Yeah,
hacking the planet.
Dang.
Luckily,
what's the name of that? What do you call that rig? What's that computer called on the network?
Roger's work computer. I wish it was cool.
What's your work computer called? Odeon, Plunderer of Depths.
No, my work computer is called Zalthor.
Oh, right. That's Zalthor, the coming of Zalthor.
Yeah, the one that I do my hacking on is just Roger's work computer to throw them off.
Yeah. That's genius, honestly.
All right. So we're entering the Matrix. Everyone strap on your leather Get
Strap
your
it on.
shades out. Wait, do I actually have my shades? I don't have my shades, so we can't do this proper.
Shit. We're gonna get flashy thinged. No, wait, that's
Yeah.
Men in Black.
No, we're just cool. Like in the Matrix. I'm talking glitches in the Matrix. I have an article written in 2023 about the spookiest, the scariest, the most exceptional, the most multifarious glitches in the Matrix that BuzzFeed was able to acquire.
BuzzFeed.
Their senior editor, Andy Golder. That can't be a name.
Sure,
he's
Andy Golder's still alive.
Andy Golder, show yourself. They are senior editor. Oh no! He's the senior editor of BuzzFeed and has curated a number of stories about people's glitches in the Matrix that they experienced. We'll read a number of them, so you can go to the article, BuzzFeed.com. Creepiest glitch in the Matrix stories. Creepiest. So number 1. If I told you what I saw last night, you would not believe me. Like, I can't even wrap my head around it. So here it goes. They use the first sentence of the Reddit post, I assume, as the title. I went to do laundry around 2 a.m. with my oldest son. After we
that's
put
where you went wrong.
Yeah, you need to go with your oldest daughter.
I did the 7th son.
Yeah, no, I was trying to think of some curse too. Yeah, the 7th son.
I forgot to tell you about Robert Kirk's death next time.
Oh, damn it. I forgot yeah, anyway. After we put the laundry in, we went to a McDonald's drive-thru to get something to drink. At the drive-thru was packed with about 5 or 6 cars ahead of us. I noticed none of the cars were moving forward, and it had been like 5 minutes of waiting already. Oh. So I decided to go around the car in front of me to the next drive-thru lane. McDonald's has 2 lanes.
Whoa.
As I'm pulling around them, I look into the car to see why they're not moving. And I kid you not, both people, driver and passenger, looked dead. Heads tilted all the way back, eyes shut, Yikes. Not moving, dead. I freaked out and pulled out a gun and started blasting. No. Go on.
Could this just be people fucking with them?
It could be a big, nice, like the employees at McDonald's taking their cars and having fun. They got 2 drive-thrus so they can, close one down because it's midnight or past midnight. They only need one open. So with the other one, you leave the lights on, get your buddies, and you have some fun little prankins.
Play dead.
So the writer freaks out and tried to pull out of the drive-thru, entirely going around the other cars just to get out of there. The next car I passed, all the passengers also looked dead. Heads tilted back, eyes shut. I panicked, thinking they were all shot or something. Go on. All right. They were all shot or something. So I fucking hit the gas and got out of there. My son called 911 and told him what happened. They sent an officer to check. Few minutes later, the cop called us back to say everything was fine at the McDonald's.
You guys are dumb and everything's fine.
Mind you, my son saw it too. We both saw the car in front of us. The people looked dead. This shit was terrifying. It looked like one of those rapture movies or the end of the world type shit. Well, needless to say, I can't wrap my head around what we saw or why. I'm still scared over it.
So, like, what? How did they look dead?
The head tilted back, eyes shut.
But that's people. That looks like people asleep.
But then you have, which is still weird, to have 2 cars.
Asleep is dead.
Asleep is dead, Jordan. It's just short death. But it's weird to have 2 cars both like that in whatever universe you're entered in just now, or whatever glitch just happened.
I guess it's a bit of the like I want the fairy world description, you know. I want to see like how are you so sure? You sound so sure.
They saw what they saw. Well, I mean, I think just the situation was weird. Like they said like they were dead.
Yeah.
That's just their description of it.
I've heard other stories.
The whole situation is bizarre. And I'm going for, if we're going to dismiss this and what's
certainly
skeptic it out, prank is the best bet. McDonald's employees having the best time of their life, and they are watching your video footage probably to this day as you freak out. Yeah. And as you run away, everyone gets out of their cars and like high fives and laughs.
Yeah. Funny.
But that's me throwing a lot of
salt.
A lot of salt. This is some salty meal I just made here.
Yeah, more than a grain. Yeah.
Let's move on. How many are all together here? All right. Good. Oh, that was a scary picture. We'll share that one. That's something that just jump scared me.
Yikes.
We'll get to it. Number 4. Something weird is happening in our town, and only my family seems to notice. The first thing we started noticing were duplicates. We would see someone somewhere only for them to inexplicably end up somewhere else. For example, my mother and I saw and chatted with an old friend at the grocery store, and when we arrived home later, we saw on Facebook that this person was out of the country on vacation and had been for a few days. They have no memory of speaking to us either.
Weird. That's also...
This one might be generational schizophrenia.
Yeah, but that's also mentioned in fairy tales. Is
this type of
doppelganger, the double walker,
doppelgangen. I've taken phone calls that were duplicate calls I had already taken with the other person, swearing we hadn't spoken yet. The scariest thing, though, has been the deaths. There have been 4 deaths in our community of very well-known and influential people, and every one of them has died twice.
What?
We hear about their deaths and see all the RIP posts on Facebook. We see the community fundraisers put on to raise money for the funerals, and even see the cars at the church or funeral home for these people to die a week or 2 later, and all the same posts and fundraisers happen again. All right, this might be a weird scam.
Well, I mean, if that's fucking pretty funny,
only our families seem to notice these things happening. My mother and sibling and my 2 kids. We don't know what's happening, and it's starting to scare us. There is a top theory on this one, actually. There wasn't on the other one. Let me double check that. I'm a goddamn liar. Top theory for the first one was excluding the possibility of hallucination due to fatigue, some kind of jumping between parallel universes. They go with hallucination due to fatigue. I still think prank's better. Prank is the easiest answer.
Yeah, it's certainly easier. Well, yeah, I guess
kids being kids. Where that's my step. Kids.
That's where
kids.
My disconnect is happening. That everybody's reacting like they saw like blood or viscera or something. And if that were the case, I'd be like, oh yeah, fucking crazy. But they were just like, I saw people with their eyes closed.
But you have a hallucination, which I think is a weak theory, which I think is why a lot of people don't like these skeptic answers, is that they're kind of catch-all-y versus like, let's actually think about who works at McDonald's. You know, like what would they,
can
they do? Not me. right now, planning the prank of the year. But like it's like this is hallucination due to fatigue versus like what if it's just some people having fun? People like to do pranks.
Also, I've fallen asleep in the parking lot of a McDonald's before. I was really tired. I was driving from like Las Vegas to California, and I had to catch 15 minutes. It was becoming dangerous for me to be on the road.
So now we have the case, Jordan, of the town.
No, I think it was McDonald's.
Of the town having duplicates of people out of the country, duplicate phone calls, death duplications to where people who are influential members of the society have died and their fundraisers ran twice. Are you ready for some top theory?
Okay, yeah.
Ruling out carbon monoxide leaks causing hallucinations. Some kind of quantum jumping between parallel universes.
Okay, sure.
So carbon monoxide
I think that's probably happening more likely than we are comfortable with.
First of all, exactly. Before you on your own jump to was that paranormal, make sure that you have a carbon monoxide detector in your home and working. Just to rule out the first easy step, because carbon monoxide's a hell of a drug.
A hell of a drug.
It will make you enter the other realm.
Yeah. You'll become like a button on someone's vest, like a bad person, and you have to stay that way for a year or something.
So here's one of the jump scares that I scrolled down to. Scrolled right down to it. I was like, oh God.
Oh yeah, I know her.
Yeah.
She was that crazy ex-girlfriend meme lady.
Lena Morris.
Yeah. She goes to a lot of cons and stuff.
Yeah. Right. Good. I hope she gets her fees.
Yeah.
Here is this one I enjoy. It's the next one, number 5. When I was little, my parents had a painting of a soldier in a uniform. I could see it from my bed when the door was cracked. Several times, I saw the man in the painting move his head and look at me.
Oh, no.
The scariest experience was after I begged my parents to get rid of the painting. My dad calmed me down, and I started to drift to sleep. But I had that feeling where you are being watched. When I opened my eyes, and I'd never forgotten this, the soldier turned his head and smiled. The next day, my dad threw the painting away. Years later, my dad told me he had heard me moving around in my bed and was looking down the hall trying to decide if he should go check on me. And glancing down the hallway, he saw the man in the painting turn his head and smile. I'm glad it ended that way so the voice wasn't totally just out of place.
The voice was great. I got to tell you, the voice added a lot to my experience.
That gave me goosebumps. That's what I experienced with the goddamn doll.
Huge if true. Huge if true.
I experienced the same thing with the doll. Some apartments just be haunted, and they take things that previously were not haunted and they just get in there.
Women be shopping, dolls be haunting.
My mom, I'm sure, had that doll for years, and it only moved, or I only noticed it moving that one time, and it did the same exact goddamn thing. Top theory, paranormal activity. Nothing else.
Pinot active.
They're not even going carbon monoxide leak. They're not going hallucination due to fatigue. They're just not. That place haunted. That picture's haunted.
I mean, 2 people seeing it, even if it was a carbon monoxide leak, 2 people seeing the exact same movement. That's a tall order.
That was exactly one of the other ones,
Yeah, but I'm sure plenty of people will accept that as an answer. Morons.
Let's move down. My voice said something else. This just happened, and my fiance and I are a little freaked out. He couldn't find his phone, and I offered to call him. When he found his phone, he answered on speaker and said hello while next to me. I answered with hello as well. But when we heard my voice coming from his phone, it was clearly me saying, hey. We looked at each other.
Next.
We looked at each other and ended the call. We couldn't come up with a rational explanation. This is the next one for you?
I mean, that's a change of a word, I guess.
It could have been broken up. It didn't give me the goosebumps.
Yeah.
The top theory, they kind of gave up rational explanations. This is just straight up fiance's voice from a parallel universe came through the line instead.
I guess.
All right. This one will get you.
Oh, no. Hang on. I'm driving.
Well, get ready to die.
Oh, no.
This is a relatively short story, but still creeps me out to this day because of how certain I am of it. I was working in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in a travel job where I would stay in hotels throughout the week and then travel home for the weekend. I got off at 5 p.m. as usual, and before I got to the PA Turnpike, I stopped at a mom and pop style gas station to fuel up for the trip home. This
What's
is
a mom and pop style gas station?
Do you know that one in I forgot what it's called in Wyoming, like Beaufort or something? It's like the town with a population of 2, and they run the gas. Anyway. Well, they run the gas station. That's a mom and pop gas station.
Okay, because mom and pop
it's those rural ones to where like it's Conoco gas, but it's not Conoco.
I get it. This wasn't quite the riff I thought it would be.
Oh, I had fun.
Then I'm sorry.
I had fun conversing with you as a friend.
Dang, nah, fuck that. Nah, it's got to be content.
Got my gas.
It is weird when you get to those states where they won't let you pump your own gas.
Dude, New Jersey, I think just now. And quote me and correct me in the comments, but I think New Jersey just now finally went, you can pump your own gas.
There's some that still aren't. Like, I don't think you can do it in Oregon.
Dude,
like, oh, no, you don't, buddy.
Rightfully so. The Gas Pumpers Union protects jobs.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're going to do it wrong. You're going to blow up another gas station, Jordan. We have professionals that will do it for you.
That is my right.
It is in the Constitution.
I'm pretty sure.
So they got their gas, headed back for the turnpike. I drove for maybe 2.5 more hours and decided I was going to pull off and get a quick bite to eat and use the bathroom. I punched in my GPS to the nearest gas station and headed to it. I swear to God, I pulled into the exact same mom and pop gas station. I walked in to get a burger and almost fell over. I was so freaked out. Finished up in the station, walked out to my truck, and my GPS reflected I was in the same spot. Those 2.5 hours of driving completely erased after it was 7. That's just what it says. I should have been home. I should have been halfway home. Wow. The only logic I have is I fell asleep at the station, but surely someone would have woke me up if I was there that long. I remember the drive and the gas in my truck reflected that I have been driving.
Okay.
This one could be, and I have not done it, but I know people that have, and at night in the darkness, it is hard. You punched in your coordinates and somehow got turned around and went backwards.
Interesting.
Like somehow in the darkness you got turned around.
I see it. I get it.
You pulled over to use your GPS safely.
Yeah, like in the old days, you had to pull over to use the GPS. There was a big crank. It was the size of a barn, and 2 people had to get in it. And one person
the
on
very
the roof,
fact he's operating this by himself.
Yeah, impressive.
But I think that's what happened more so than time slipping, possibly due to alien abduction.
I agree. I agree with Roger.
Now, hopefully, this is the other jump scare. This one, the face from Face movie.
Smile. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's just fucked up.
This article, it got my heart beating a little bit. Now, this one's a little bit of a longer one, but it's a good finishing point. Let us start. When I was about 17 years old, my friend and I used to hang out at the mall religiously, like it was our church.
Like it was a religion.
I was going to say that too. That should have. God damn it. But they didn't write that. That was me adding some flair. But there was one day that we went that still sticks out in my mind years later. It was closer to evening and the lights were all half off, which we had never seen before. But the mall was still open as far as we could tell, although at least a third of the shops were closed and empty. We could not figure out why there wasn't a holiday or anything else that we could think of. That was unusual, but not so strange as to not have a plausible explanation. Maybe they had a power outage, blah, 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 maintenance, something.
Yeah, you don't know. You weren't there.
Yeah, you don't know. We're telling the story. Something about the atmosphere made it feel eerie, though. The dim lights, the setting sun, the familiar, bright, and bustling area now darker and quieter. Very bizarro world, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
But the part that stuck with us was the other people there. There weren't as many people around as usual, but almost everyone we encountered would watch us. Their eyes would follow us, and people openly stared expressionlessly at us. Not the typical glance at a person walking past. It was as if they seemed surprised to see us there, and their eyes would trail long past what's considered socially acceptable. We both noticed immediately, and at first we felt like celebrities. We drank it in, thinking we must have looked really good that day, as they stared expressionlessly at you. But we weren't wearing anything special enough to garner this much attention. We kept checking with each other, looking at our reflections, making sure we didn't have something on our face or something otherwise drawing attention, and we did not. Still, it continued. I remember that we both saw two parents with a young child in a stroller all watch us simultaneously as we walked by. Like the child, too, I assume, just rubbernecking with their parents. And that was when we were both like, okay, this is getting weird. Why are people looking at us?
Yeah, scary. We
tried to ignore it, but around 85% of the people took notice of us. People, different demographics. We got everyone. Are you ready for the list? We got olds, we got youngs, we got middles, we got shop clerks, we have customers.
We have the kinds of people there are.
Tables.
Whoa, table people. Let's hear it for the people at the tables.
They did go on a list like that. I just, I don't know, goofed it up.
Sure. It's all right. You're allowed to.
I'm a goofy man. We thought maybe it was because there were fewer shoppers around. They're just trying to decipher it, but it's very much, as even they say in this, Invasion of the Body Snatchers type situation. Like, they are the only people anyone is noticing. There are people in between them. Some people are 40 feet away, and they are staring at them, ignoring the other people who are walking by the other people while staring at them.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Yeah.
But it didn't seem like there was an open malice or like annoyance or any intimidation going on. It wasn't. It was just confusing, odd. They spent only 45 minutes before they called their dad to pick us up again. So this isn't a Langolier situation. The phone works.
Dad. Yeah.
And he noticed it too when he got there. So he saw it too. He saw the people staring. We were super creeped out, but when we went back the next weekend, everything was normal.
Nice. No consequences. Everything's fine for us.
I mean, except that they're haunted by this memory.
Hey, who isn't haunted by a memory or two?
I got memories I can't remember. I'm so haunted.
Absolutely. I forgot all about them.
So, top theory. Are you ready for it? Everyone at the mall was dead.
Ah! Interesting. Good theory. That would sell a TV show. That'd probably be enough.
That would be a series of that would be a movie and a series of reboots and remakes.
Yeah.
Or the teens had jumped into a different reality and they weren't supposed to be there.
Games.
But even then, they didn't mention how they looked differently from other people. So was it like an energy thing? Did they have a different aura that was like a different glow, if you will? Like kind of how Palladians are described. Yeah, how me and you do after we make love.
Yeah, you know, when you meet people in a crowd and they're like, you guys just have a special glow. It's like you're elven or something. It's like you're from a parallel reality.
And then you say, not really.
Yeah.
I try to say the elven word for hurry. We'll see. My lady will tell me if I got it right.
Nice.
That's my segment. I apologize, everyone.
Okay.
We'll call it Roger hacks the Matrix glitches.
Nice. I think that's what they almost called the second Matrix.
Yeah, Roger hacks the Matrix glitches.
Mm-hmm. Well, folks, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Werewolf Radar. We love you. It's good to be back. I'm excited to be off of a plane and not walking many miles a day. If you really like what you saw here, you can go over to our Patreon and join us for as little as $1 a month. You can support the show, help us make additional content for you, as well as merch and other type stuff. Boy, my charisma is just tanking at the end here, Raj. What do I do? What would the Matrix do?
You have to eat that potion that the Fae gave you while you were there.
What would
eat
John
the
Matrix
potion?
Do? Hang on. Okay,
John Matrix would first of all shoot everyone. I would like to point out that those people they murder at the end of the first Matrix were just normal people working a security job. They hadn't turned into agents
That is
yet.
true, but they were also, they gotta break some eggs. Thank you for enjoying another episode of Werewolf Radar. Until next time, as always, please join us in our sign-off line on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Punch the sky,
Spaceman Joe. Punch the sky.
Pa-pow.
Pa-pow. Pa-pow.